And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League. We have a bit of an interesting day here today because we have 5 matches, not 4. This is a continuation of a match we had about 2 or 3 weeks ago, if I remember correctly, where we already played the first map, but we had some issues with the CSGO update, so we had to postpone it. This will be the second map of it, and it's going to be played on Train here between SK Gaming and NRG. As we mentioned before, NRG not going to have the best of odds to be able to take this one against a team like SK, especially now they're back in form and winning tournaments again. Yeah,
and I think NRG a little bit going downhill after they lost Marky. I think Marky was a huge upgrade over Lowman. Not a believer in Lowman replacing him. I think Marky was clearly the better player. So I think NRG and you know, the way we saw them play Inferno against SK, it just to me is like just these giant risks every single round. I mean, it just kind of tells me like you don't have a belief that you can win straight up or anything. And the funny part is that they did play straight up every time they did. They won the round, if you remember.
Yeah.
Especially like Breeze at A site was doing really, really well. So we'll see how they play Train. I mean, I think one thing that could go in their benefit is that, you know, SK has already locked up a playoff spot. They might be playing a little bit loose, similar to what we saw NRG, or Immortals, excuse me, on Cash of last night. Could be a similar situation where they're just kind of flying around, running around. But then again, maybe that works in SK's favor, and they're hitting the entries every single time. So we'll see. I don't think SK is the type of team to usually do that. They usually take every game pretty seriously, and even if they know that they have the victory, they'll try to use it as like practice a lot of the time. So I'm not expecting that to happen, but it is a possibility. You never really know.
Yeah, and I mean, if we do end up seeing NRG be able to take this one, this is actually going to be a huge boost for them overall, because of the fact that they are still, you know, leading the pack in a lot of ways in terms of where their actual position is in the league right now. They're sitting at 14-7, which is ahead of some of the other teams that sit below them. So they're sort of in the middle of the pack in terms of, you know, this race to remain within the top 6. Six, I should say. They have pretty good odds to stay within it. As one of their other matches, the Foundation, and if they can at the very least steal this one map against SK, then they'll have pretty good odds to end up like a win or two above some of these other teams like CLG and Optic, which would end up pushing them into the top 6 at the very end of it. So they're definitely going to put their best into this one, as if they can steal it, then that's going to be a huge boost for them, as their other match besides the Foundation is against C9, and that one's going to be a little bit harder to take overall in a even taking one map fashion there.
Yeah, they've played, you know, a lesser amount of maps than a lot of the other teams. So we're not exactly sure. They only have 21 games played so far.
Yeah, they're like one map behind everyone else because
yeah,
getting elite.
Yeah, 1 to 2 maps behind. Because some people have played their other games too. So we'll see. I mean, it's a tight race. We'll see what happens. Could you imagine if there was only 10 teams in this league, though? It'd be amazing. It would be like the sickest thing down the stretch.
Yeah.
You would just have no idea.
You have no idea who's going to make it in.
Yeah. Because they'd all be playing each other for those top spots, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like some teams playing against, you know, Animal Squad.
Well, not anymore. The Animal Squad have ceded their spot as far as I'm aware. So.
Well, then then they just get forfeit wins. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's even worse.
Yeah, I suppose.
How sick would that be, though, right?
Yeah. Not disagreeing with you.
Literally be 10 teams all fighting for like 4 spots, and it would all come down to the last day.
So we are
against each other.
So we are, I believe, just waiting a little bit here. SK needs a few extra moments to get themselves readied up, which is the cause of the delay. But as soon as they've settled their issues, then we are going to jump back into it. But again, for those of you who haven't seen a lot of the NA matches this season and haven't paid too much attention to NRGs, they did kind of bust onto the scene after the dissolvement of the last roster that turned into Big in a way and had the 3 German players that ended up moving back over to Europe. The big star here now for NRG this season has been Breeze, with probably some of the strongest entry capability in North America on the T side so far, and just these abilities to move in and completely dominate rounds all on his own, not even needing any teammate support with utility or anything like that. Just goes in and gets massive amounts of kills time and time again.
Yeah, strong CT sides as well. Just a really good player. I think Sana asked Vendetta the question. He's like, what do these guys need to do to get into the next tier? I think they need 4 other players next to Breeze. Because that guy's just really good. I think he's a lot better than everybody else on his team, to be honest.
Yeah, Breeze is insane. He's shown himself to be the highlight player so far. So definitely going to be interesting to see if they do end up remaining in the top 6, which, like I said, their odds to stay in the top 6 are actually relatively good. If they end up making it, the real big question is going to be how this translates to LAN, because the first attempt at it that we saw didn't really go too well at Copenhagen Games, and it also apparently, as far as I can tell based on the rumors that came out afterwards, led to the removal of Marky. So, yeah, we'll have to hope that it's a little bit better this time if they end up going to Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know, NRG is just... They're one of those teams that I just think is a lot better online than LAN, and I don't expect that to stop happening anytime soon. You know, whenever you play like them and you just take giant risks, just as individuals and as a team, it's just how are you ever going to be consistent, you know? And if you're going to go deep into a LAN, you're going to have to play 10 maps, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, maybe you win once or twice because you're taking these giant risks, but are you going to be able to, you know, win 6, 7 times? Probably not. So it ends up working against you a lot more than it works for you, and it's also extremely difficult to practice that way. If your entire way of winning rounds is because you have an extra guy at a site, and then the other site's completely vulnerable, based off no read or anything like that, no positional advantage, you know, how do you practice as like an individual? It's just, it doesn't really work. You need consistency in order to actually practice and improve at the same time.
Absolutely, and once again, guys, we do apologize for that little bit of a delay. It's looking like we should be live here in just a few seconds. As a bit of a reminder, too, as to what else we have coming up throughout the course of the day. After this match, we're going to be showing, well, back to 2 maps, of course, for each set after that, but it's going to be Complexity taking on Rush, and then we'll have the big match at the end of the day. That's going to be Cloud9 versus Team Liquid, which has really huge playoff contentions for both teams. Both teams need like both of those wins, essentially, to be able to push forward as the standings have changed a little bit with this news surrounding the old Winter Fox roster today, so it sort of has mixed things up a little bit, and some teams need a few more wins to be absolutely safe with their positions in the league. But it does look like we are finally going live now, folks. The Live on 3 has started, so let's get into it. NRG taking on SK Gaming, and by the looks of it, NRG is going to start off on the CT side. Let's jump in and see who's going to take control of this pistol round. And started off pretty usual buys right at the beginning of it. No one doing anything insane. You have the usual diffuse kit coming in for at least one player on the CT side and the utility buy for the Ts. But specifically for Phelps, he's going to be fast outside. Solo, though, and doesn't really push past Olaf or anything like that, kind of just holding here, making a little bit of noise. The rest of his teammates are pushing into the box halls, and they already have pretty much full control of that area over there. Both Ben and Peter are going to be in the B-bomb site, so they will be in positions to defend this. But if Phelps makes noise, he goes back. Peter with a nice shot from long range, able to take down Taco. Keep your eyes on Fur, though, as he's sneaking up very quietly. Hasn't been unnoticed just yet. As he goes to the smoke, he is losing teammates relatively quickly, so he'll have to strike soon. Otherwise, it's just coldzera sitting in the back box holes to defend his Fur. Great position, though. Now he opens up with the first kill. coldzera, in the meantime, still way in the back, and Fur is only able to get 1 kill from that position. coldzera trying to stop the defuse, but it's already way too far gone, and Daft just closes out on him with the last kill anyway.
Yeah, no hope for Cold there. I think at Sydney, didn't he actually win a 1v3 from their own pistol from upper against Optic?
He might have.
He did. He did.
I didn't get to watch so much of Sydney.
No?
No.
Yeah, he was on pissing around, and he was upper with a Glock and ended up winning the 1v3 post-plant. I think it was Hazed and Tarek were fighting him from like on top of the trains way far back, and they just couldn't go him.
Well, that's going to set NRG ablaze here. I'm going to take control of the first round of the match. Fugly getting tested early on, too, is a nice move there. Unfortunately, doesn't lead to too much. Peter also hitting his second shot there, and for the most part, just making quick work of SK in this second round, already down to 3. coldzera, great job getting Breezy to kind of go into the opening and take that duel, but doesn't lead to a second kill when he does actually have to swing out into the opening. Fallen somehow gets into the site. No, I thought he was going to plant for a second, but Fugly still has the position up on top, and he is able to stop Fallen before that bomb goes onto the ground. Denies the plant, and a relatively clean round, like I said, with the exception of the elimination of Breezy.
Yeah, but SK is going to get a full buy of AK armor. Assume they'll take it, and they do. So almost able to get the bomb down there. They do get 1 kill. NRG, couple umps, couple M4s, and a scout.
Yeah, now we are going to see SK just splitting players up. Breezy trying to get aggressive back over here on the ramp. There's a little man with him too. Very aggressive control being taken by NRG early on, even in ramp room too. Problem is, it doesn't really work out too well for them. But Phelps getting that first kill. Just that one frag alone pretty much opens up the A site entirely. Great shot from Peter, though. Just absolutely destroys Fur. And he may have a chance at a second one here in a second as well. Back over on the right side, coldzera is sitting and waiting behind the boxes. Flashbang will connect pretty well. But Breezy now pushing forward through the old bomb train is able to eliminate Phelps and Peter. Well, he should have himself an M4 in a second, but he just wants one more with the scout. Unfortunately, he goes down while picking that up. Taco takes advantage of the situation and brings us down to an even 2v2. Fugly not only saves his teammates' life, but saves the defuse. However, Bolin gets them both lined up and clutches it out for SK.
Just good recognition by Fallen, knows exactly where the bomb is. Spams it up. NRG gonna get a full buy here though. NRG, they already have an off on PTR. See what else they get. A couple umps, 5-7, and M4. Still not a bad buy, but PTR, it's gonna be on him to kind of make it easier on his teammates, right?
Yeah.
Get a 4v5. If he doesn't, it's gonna be a lot tougher to win this round. They're really relying on him. And Fur knocks him out with an AK. That team.
Right at the start, coldzera watching out for the aggression this time too, picks up a double now. Absolute decimation at the hands of SK, mainly because of the fact that NRG got so aggressive though. The only hope now is for Fugly to try and save it, getting one kill, now isolated out into the open. In the meantime, he's lost his only other teammate back over on the outside site. Just Fugly trying to duel it out with Taco, but Taco's gonna win it, and there you go. Another round for SK, and we're immediately tied up.
Cannot believe Fur hit that shot.
That was insane.
That was sick.
We're probably gonna see it again right here. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, so they basically just played like a retake outside. PTR upping Z, another player probably back lanes, and then 3 pushed inner. But you know, SK, they know how to you know, stop something like that. Get very, very easy kills, punish it.
Fur taking a little bit of damage from nades early on, and the dust from it is obscuring his vision slightly, but he's not going to be anyone in his view pane anyway. Fallen able to grab a first kill from inside of T-Con, but he loses Breeze just seconds later. Fallen will have another opportunity. In fact, Fur is going to get it as he creeps back up the short lane. Able to eliminate Breeze there. We're moving into such great control being taken by SK with so little effort being used. Fugly able to hold it off for just a few extra seconds here, but running out of ammo will also run out of health. And with that, SK take control of yet another round, pushing into the lead here.
Yeah, we'll see if NRG decides. I mean, my biggest gripe about this team every time we watch them is that they buy so passively. They never use umps. They always just let the other team get a huge economic advantage and whatnot. And they're finally changing a little bit, right? Like they're force buying, but you know, and we'll see. And it would actually work, be more beneficial to their playstyle if they did buy like this, because these are the rounds you actually want to take risks on. You know, these are the rounds you want to have an extra guy at a site and gamble when you have a poorly bought round. So why not, you know, aggressively buy when you have that type of playstyle?
Now we do see SK swinging back over into the box halls. Everyone except for Phelps already positioned inside of there. But NRG also starting to get aggressive with their push over towards T-Con. I do believe that they spotted out Phelps here. And then we'll just promptly smoke it. Phelps doesn't seem to care too much though. He has no problem flashing that and probably going to decide to push through it to challenge these positions and more importantly retake a spot on those own regard to keep the dream alive that maybe very well sending it to outside anyway, and that should keep both Breeze along with Little Man in this site. Fugly though having to check down below. He goes for the peek. It's well timed, but unfortunately Fur taking him out of the play anyway. Breeze with a response and looking for more, but not playing out. And coldzera from up on top, dispatches of Peter. Down will go the op from NRG. More bodies being added to that pile over there as coldzera hits a second shot now against Breeze, and that'll pretty much settle it. There's no room for Little Man and Daps to do anything else here. Even SK's few members in the back halls there are moving over to the outer site to try and hunt them down. So they're definitely going to be calling this one off and letting SK go up to 4.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you're NRG, that's something you can improve upon. So they take team mid control. Phelps makes a really daring play to even go back in there. If anybody was watching that, that was like a death trap for him. He probably would have died for sure, since you are going to hear that flashbang. You're going to hear that every time and just turn really easily. But then, like, why did they lose that round? You have to ask yourself that. They lost that round because Fugly was on bomb train and had a bad hold. But if that's the way you lose a round, Fugly can work on that, and he can improve that and become a super consistent player at being on that top of bomb train and get those kills, because he's very favored there. That's not a kill that he should miss. So look at the reason you lost the round. They lost the round because Fugly didn't perform at that specific spot, at that specific time, but more often than not, he will perform at that spot. So that's fine. Like, you're fine with that. Everybody was in a good position to win the round. You say, you know what? My teammate didn't play a spot properly. He missed his kill. Whatever. Like, I'm fine with that.
And even better is they're not letting SK run away with a huge amount of money just yet. Obviously, still in full buys. And this round, more than likely, you can expect them to crush it. But at an average point, most of these guys on SK are still sitting around, I would say, 5 to 6K at most, which isn't a massive build-up just yet. It's actually a little bit less than that. Everybody except for Taco is still floating at the 2K mark. So now back around, he pushes through Sandwich for free, and it is a clean round. Not only that, but it's team ace as well. They make quick work of that half buy / eco from NRG, and now go up to 5 rounds. But NRG will also be full buying again into this one.
The issue with NRG right now is that every like individual gun battle they're losing. You know, Fur outpicks Peter when he has an op at team mid. Fugly in a really good spot dies and loses that kill. You know, we see Daps at Ivy there at a good spot. He dies. Like, the individual battles are just being dominated by SK.
NRG also are being really aggressive, too, in a lot of these opening battles, thinking that they can win them. They've kind of moved away from that now as we've gotten past round, like, number 6, but...
Oh, yeah, like the inner pushes, they did it twice, both times failed.
Stopped a lot of that now, though, and we can even see them holding back a lot more on the outside train. That's going to change up a little bit with Breeze, though, as he's still the aggressive player you've come to know. And he starts off with 1 kill, even gets pretty close to that second frag as well. But Taco is able to win it back out. Great smoke, though. coldzera is able to utilize that to eliminate Little Man. And now the CTs are completely tapped out of this site. Daps obviously still has the position at the edge of the short lane, but he can't do anything here right now. And the other 2 players from NRG are going to try to rotate around through CT over to the old tunnels. We'll see if they can make an impact here. In a moment, Daps may get challenged, but I'm not sure if they're teching for his position. So escapes with the kill on the Fur for free. That evens it back up to another 3v3 scenario. NRG will have to be cautious. They don't really have a whole lot of utility to actually get back into this site with, though. Only the 1 smoke sitting on top of Peter, and Peter had a great chance to isolate Taco and take him out, but misses the shot. Fugly thankfully comes in to oblige, eliminates Ball in the site. There's a smoke now covering off both the remaining Ts. They can jump onto that bomb if they want to. They just got to find it first. And with that said, SK need to get themselves out into the open. Taco actually eliminates the diffuser. Peter trades onto that one, but now coldzera out into the open once again. Finds 1 player. Daps is sticking to the defuse. Is coldzera going to be able to hit this shot? Not looking likely. And we do indeed see him escaping with the defuse. And NRG pick up the round.
Yeah, not sure if Cold heard him on the bomb, and that's probably why that happened. I don't think he heard him on it.
No, I didn't even seem to react to it when he went on top of the train.
But SK, once again, they lose the round, but they lose it in the best possible scenario. They kill 4 players of NRG. They also get the bomb down. So they do get a little bit of extra money, even though they did lose it. And now they have a chance to just completely reset.
And immediately the buy from NRG, as you can see too, is going to be limited to multiple degrees. We have the UMP sitting on Fugly, lacks utility for a lot of these members. SK already trying to move in for quick control here, and they've succeeded in once again picking up the first kill against the most crucial player on this roster too. That's Breeze getting knocked out right at the beginning of the round. They bait Peter into going into the open against coldzera, who's still over there by T-Con, so he gets dispatched up. Once again, the slow roll from SK, just getting them outside control 1 kill at a time, and it's happening again in this round. Now they get Little Man into the open. Once again, the ops there. coldzera strikes, eliminates him. Fugly, Blast Man here, sitting on the bomb train still. Gets himself a nice double, though. Eliminating Fallen and Phelps, but he needs to get his teammate support in here very quickly before, once again, the Huntsman moves into strike. That'll take down Fugly. And now it's just Daps stuck behind a smoke and Ticket with really no room to bargain for this 1v3. Unless he comes out with a monster play. No utility either. Just makes a move, though. Goes in. No one's covering for him, so he does take down coldzera. But Taco can quickly swing back out from E-Box and trade that in to finish off the round.
And now NRG completely reset. 1 player has 38, but that is it. And do you see how, what I was talking about earlier, where I just feel like mentally they don't even feel like they can beat SK, where they just lose every individual gun battle. Like PTR normally is going to hit that shot of that guy coming out of Ivy, and that doesn't happen where he has to run towards hell and then Cold kills him. Like normally he's going to hit that. But against SK, what happens? For 1 taps him in mid with an AK when he has an op. Like things like that, just mentally speaking, like I don't think that they feel they can win.
Yeah, they can win.
Yeah.
Against the players. coldzera taking a little bit of damage on himself early on there, being brought down to 60 HP after he hits into that Molotov. I think he got hit by an HE or something before that, though, and was already caught by like 20. Little Man finding a kill outside, and Daps holding on here as well. Nicely played. Has some assistance from Fugly in the back. And there you go. All of a sudden, it's NRG with full control, and they don't even have to do much to do it. Just these pistols. A little bit of armor buy coming up behind them. All of a sudden, it's been left down to Phelps, who's pushing in through Ivy, but he doesn't have bomb under his control. Basically just has to hope he can try and hunt down these players one by one and maximize the amount of damage he's doing. Right now stuck in that A site with obviously not a lot of intel for him to work with and not a lot of safe room to maneuver upon. So just slowly wraps himself back over here towards the T-Con. Find a player out in the open. That's Little Man being eliminated. Now you got two more players with rifles to go up against as well. One of them having the op in hand, and that'll be Peter. So not trying to be tricky about the way he's taking this pathing either. Just going straight up the ladder, back around to retrieve the bomb, and hopefully out into the site. But there's a three-man stack waiting for him here. This is more than likely going to be the end for him because he goes out massively, and indeed he will. Peter shuts him down with a simple shot from the op, and NRG get themselves up to 4 on a round that they had very little business actually winning.
Yeah, just 4 pistols and an M4 half armor. That's it. And Fugly able to peek towards upper. I think he gets 2 here before dying. Dab's just in a nice spot, able to see Z Fallen close range. And, you know, they win a round that can potentially get them back into this game and maybe even end up winning this half.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the follow-through goes since SK obviously still have the cash to buy in. They're going to be on full line once more here. And Little Man deciding to get aggressive once again for NRG, pushing himself up the ladder room. We haven't seen this trend stay true back over towards B, though. In fact, they've lightened up their B pressure to a huge degree. It's only Fugly here, and Fugly's way back towards Z, trying to do some damage. And he does do decent damage. Bird at a 10 HP. I think Taco has a separate result, but he gets the damage on the Fallen now, and a repeat. Going to be pushed out by Phelps, however, but Phelps unsuccessful in picking up the kill. Fugly holds strong, able to eliminate Phelps. Now they have an instant flank working against them. They haven't been able to successfully push up onto the site. Little Man knows there's one further up the sidewalk there. Messy spray, however, so he's only able to get 1 player. Fur trying to lurk back in, eliminating Taco, eliminating Fur as well as Breezy spots him at the last second before he pushes in through that smoke. So now it's just on Colzera here with 43 HP and a 1v4 set against him, slowly being crunched from all positions. No way he's staying alive here. Peter closes it out, and NRG indeed tie this, or get close, I should say, to tying this up at 5-6.
Yeah, Fugly with a very passive hold, but the key for that was that he killed Phelps when Phelps was getting pushed up. And the flash, if you saw it by SK, was just a little bit short. If they would have thrown that flash deeper, it actually would have gotten Fugly, and he would have either died fighting to Phelps because he would have been blind, or he would have had to backtrack towards CT spawn, and SK probably wins that round. So that little thing where that flashbang just drops a little bit short cost them a potential reset opportunity onto NRG. Now they're 4 spot, you know, not even an AK, just 1 op. 4 pretty crafty guns as Taco pushes hell, dies to Daps. So they got the double op setup going, and it's a really passive hold from them. They got CT Heaven, they got Old Bomb, they're peeking on top of the trains, and Cole takes out Lil Man. We see Breeze goes to top of CT Heaven, that's not gonna work. He's gonna die every time doing that. The bomb's gonna go down in a minute. And this is where SK is really, really strong in slowing it down in situations like this.
Fugly sneaking back up, and the Mitch op shot from Fallen does allow for them to move in. Not going to deny the plant, however, but with Peter coming in on the flank, opens up another opportunity. It is brought down to a 1v1 at the end of it. And Fur right now looking at the correct position. That Molly should give away their no trajectory where Peter should be hiding out at, though. So Fur in a good spot right now, but he is going to have to watch out for the right side here. The exit of Sandwich. He'll be cautious. Smoke being deployed on the bomb. I'm thinking that he jumped on the diffuser, just waiting for him to do it. He's got the right position, so as soon as he taps onto it, should be able to knife him, and there you go. Nicely played for SK, right back into control of this matchup. Beautiful body placement as well that kind of restricted where NRG could push out from within the site to stop SK from taking the initial control, and I think that's a large reason as to why they got the site so cleanly instead of being eliminated at the beginning.
What?
What? I didn't even see that.
What?
Straight up jumping and shot on the
kidding me? Who even attempts that, man?
I don't know. Apparently it works with that gun, so. Into combat will end up, though, pretty quickly in the 13th round. Little Man pushing up to the ladder room, eliminating Fur with his position, too, but he's going to get challenged again in a moment. So he'll stay here, hiding out and out of the smoke to pick up a second kill. Has an opportunity for a third, too, if he wants to go for it, but he's being smart about this. There's no reason to stay this aggressive, especially considering the fact you're probably going to find a few trades against you. Breeze almost loses his life in trying to re-smoke the ladder room, but stays alive, thankfully. Phelps is not, or Taco, excuse me, is not able to find the correct position. Breeze and successfully eliminate him. So for SK, everyone is going to push themselves over here towards the box halls now. And T-Con as well. And trying to posture up, I believe, towards an inner hit. We'll see and get full confirmation on that in a second, as they could also try to drop down ladder again. Breeze in here, trying to defend it, and we do see the bomb along with one other player going back down the ramp here. Little Man's dispatched to Phelps, so they're completely devoid of outside pressure, which means they need to get this plant soon, as they're going to lose a lot of the control they have here on inner. They do not have the manpower to hold it back off. Crucial nice shot from Fallen, and Taco loses his duel as well. There's Breeze with a big pickup there, and now Fallen, all he has is this bomb train position. Can't really fall back, doesn't have the volley to hold it from upper, nor does he have the position to even stay alive and take down at least one of these 4 remaining players on NRG. Breezy immediately knocking him out. There you go. NRG now will be within 1 round of tying us back up.
Yeah, so NRG starting to some signs of life after winning that 4 spot with the pistols and the M4 half armor. And, you know, trading rounds, and Low Man in a nice position, just pushing up ladder. Gets 2 kills, makes it 3v5, and then also smartly backs out.
Yeah, so SK are going to end up on a pretty low buy after they lose out that round. They need to save up for the last round. Tech 9s for 4 of them, single the UMP on Taco. For everyone else here, SK very quickly mollying, smoking, whatever the heck they want to do towards outside here. They don't notice Breeze is just sitting in the open, though. They failed to check for it entirely, or that could have been a free kill, so they're going to lose Fur and Phelps right off the bat. Goldzera swings in, finds a nice kill with his AK, but killed on the cross by Peter. That'll send Fallen back now, I believe, down the ladder room. The thing is, they rotated really heavily on this. So, in theory, the bomb could still just rush up to the bomb train and at the very least get planted on the ground, so they get a little bit of extra cash for that last round. I think this is what Fallen is going to aim for here now, but obviously he doesn't know that the site is open just yet, so he'll be a bit cautious in proceeding towards it. But yeah, he's got the clearance to plant this. No way anyone's going to be able to stop him. Now they've got a position at this point, just maximizing damage. Peter, though, immediately dispatching of Taco, and again, I doubt Fallen's going to have the capability to clutch this with just a Tech 9 and a 1v4 in the way that he's positioned. He's being creative, though, with his movement. Taking a bit of a risk in putting himself into this tunnel, but the timing of it worked out. Now he's got himself his first duel. There we go. Noses one pushing him from the right side, but Breeze also moves in, and he'll be able to shut down the actual kill into Fallen, tying things up now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that NRG gave up the plant in that scenario and just completely left the site since it's such a quick rotate back down the ladder, but nonetheless, they are able to clutch out the round, and SK still doesn't have a great buy or anything. They were only getting, I think it was 1,900 for that loss bonus. But that's a strat that SK runs all the time when they have Tech 9s. They do the bomb train smokes. They go and they flash themselves into Z and then split inner. But Breeze at that E-box was just ready for it.
So the last buy from SK, as we can see, UMP, a Galil, 2 Deagles, and a Tech 9. Decent utility again. So they can try to look for some sort of an execute over here towards outer. And right now splitting 3-2 across the map. Excuse me, it's 1-1-3. The map is a little bit deceptive sometimes with T-Con, but holding Fur inside of there, and 1 more on top of the ladder room itself with 3 positioned towards Ivy. So they are going to start to move up now, but Molly will properly hold them back. Not too big of a deal, still 1 minute and 15 left to go. Defending it on the outside of the edge vibe, though, is going to be Peter, which is the op. So there are limitations to how much he can actually stop the flow of SK players. Them sending this many. We'll see how well he does, though, in a moment, as they're definitely pushing towards it, and Peter won't even really get a chance to fire back at it. His flash, Molly back off. Bugley does have the auto sniper, though, and holding himself in here, picking up 1 kill, but then traded back out. Bree is able to hold for 2 more, now a 3rd, but Taco doing massive damage on this Deagle, bringing it down to a 1v2, though, as he has lost all of his teammates. Has a lot more work to do, and he can't do it. Death will close out, and that's going to be NRG holding control of the lead coming off of the first half. Impressive CT sign from them, and now we have to see if they can hold it going into the second half, which is going to be coming up in just a few moments right here at the ESL Pro League.
Legion Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Well, welcome back again here, folks. NRG off to a hot start in their first half on train against SK Gaming. They currently hold the lead 8-7 here now. SK, of course, already having secured their online, or their playoff spot, I should say, just their regular playoff spot. NRG still having to claim theirs, and they need about 2 or 3 more maps to be able to clinch it. So being able to take a map against SK is certainly going to help with that cause, especially when you consider that 2 out of 4 of their remaining maps besides this one are going to be against the Foundation, and those should be, easy to claim as well, theoretically speaking. So didn't really give them much credit at the start, but they ended up coming up with a lead at the end of the half.
Yeah, I mean, they're still pretty far behind, I think, just because SK City side is so good. But that round that they won with the 4 pistols and the M4, like, really brought them back into the game. I think if they didn't convert on that, might have seen like an 11-4 or something. So they won the pistol, they won that round, which was really good. But still, it's definitely SK's game to lose, in my opinion. Just their City side's so good, and 7 rounds is more than enough on their T side.
Yeah, absolutely. When you can take a look, we do have a pretty big leader coming out here on the NRG side in terms of the ADR anyway. Fugly leading the pack right now at 14-12 and 122.3 ADR at the end of the first half. Closest thing to that on SK is going to be the usual, Coldzera, sitting with a scoreline of 17-11, but only 101 ADR. Let's see, it's on black and white though, so we should be going live in a second as a live on 3 has begun. So here we go, folks. Second half getting started. SK now on the CT side with NRG jumping onto the offense. Who can take control at the beginning of this half. Once again, the usual buys coming out here too. Single kit purchase for SK along with a little bit of utility. And then slight utility buy for NRG on DAPS there. Fast. Well, we'll see 3 of their players going into the box halls though with no delay on that, but 2 more split up, 1 in T-Con, 1 leading over towards Ivy. So this is probably going to be a slower played pistol round from NRG, depending on how they do want to work towards this. They try to go down ramp early on, I should say, but, well, unfortunately, they don't get very far. Fur just shuts down 3 of them, just like that. 1, 2, 3. Daps is able to find some success outside, but he's completely detached from the actual hit, as these last 2 are trying to pinch in what would have been an attempt to cut off rotators, but it has backfired tremendously as their initial hit attempt has gone horribly wrong. And Fur will be able to move back outside, claim those last 2 kills, and end up with the ace on the round as well.
Yeah, and I think they threw the Z smoke. Daps threw it, I believe, from T spawn, and Fur just basically one-ways it. So I believe what their strat was, we didn't see the people at T mid, but I think they throw that, they flash over T mid, Daps fights T mid, they have a player coming out of Ivy who takes contact, and 3 rush down lower. So you should, hypothetically, only fight 1 person at enter maybe. But unfortunately for them, that 1 person was hurt.
Yeah, and he just absolutely destroyed everybody on the team. Taco getting aggressive this time, picking up a first kill. We do see Fugly wrapping back around to be able to find Fur, but Phelps chiming right back in. Fugly able to hold on his own regard, though, now with a new SMG, picking up not 1, but 2 more kills against both Phelps and Fallen. Coldzera is going to be moving in to try to put a little bit of a stop to Little Man. Finds him in the open, but actually Little Man saves his teammate's life, only for a short period of time, however, with Taco back behind the E-box over here. He is able to dispatch a Fugly, and he's got a good angle to win against Little Man too. He does cross the E-box, and then now Peter pushing from the backside, finally getting himself into the action. He'll close out on the round, and NRG will see an upset from them as they're able to hold on to their lead.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't really matter what guns you're going up against. If you're going to crawl up a ladder like that and somebody's watching it, you're going to die. And SK just getting really, really loose. Not taking that round probably as seriously as they should if they want to win it. And now they're forced on to just a force buy.
NRG now going outside very quickly, at least with regards to Daps. He does have some reinforcements behind him if they want to call them into the fight, and that's primarily going to be Fugly, who so far has shown up to be the big fragger here for NRG. Little Man also waiting at the bottom of the ladder room, so they're ready to take control, but they need an entry to get them into the site to begin with. That's going to come from Daps, I believe, if he can get himself forward. Fur holding a great position, though, but that nade, okay, doesn't do much. He goes a little bit too far. He only ends up doing 6 damage overall. Fugly striking. Now as the smoke starts to fade, Daps will find one too. Fall with a quick response on the scout, but Fugly with the potential to just trade that right back here. It's not going to come from him. That's he's Breezy that moves in up towards heaven and eliminates Fallen himself. Just Coldzera and Taco remain alive back here by Ivy. No room to maneuver, no room to really get back into that site, so more than likely you're going to end up with these guys falling back to save. And that indeed will be the case. Both Taco and Coldzera outside of Ivy now just focusing on keeping themselves alive. They're going to let NRG claim this one, push up to 10. and hold the early round lead, or the early half lead. And SK will now be broken, so as long as coldzera and Taco remain alive, they'll obviously have those 2 guns to carry through with into the next round here. But besides that, they won't have any chance.
I think they're going to buy, though. Taco can afford an M4, drop it. We'll see. Yeah. I don't know, it just goes for the ump. But yeah, I figured they'd buy her. So 4 umps and an M4. They have really good utility too, so this isn't too bad of a buy. They just kind of need to set up some good crossfires. Looks like they're probably going to get the ladder.
Coming up, well, buy it up, I should say. Comes from Salon to get this better utility. A lot of which has already been utilized though. They're down to just a single smoke and a single Molotov on Fur and Taco respectively. So they're going to be very, very low, and they've stacked pretty heavily towards inner. In fact, they hold complete control of it, even with aggression coming out from Fallen there, to be able to utilize it a little bit better down below ladder. They're definitely not going to have an easy time of trying to take control over towards that B-bomb site, so more than likely they have to look towards an outer execute, but there things are a lot more open. So felt by Z, and coldzera a little bit further back with the M4 around the wrap by Ivy to hold off that site. With SK not spotting anything early on in their own aggressive pushes out from B, though, they are going to sort of give that up and switch themselves into a more normal lineup of players here. Lance starts himself off with a push, Fallen able to trade that, get some good damage onto his second player. He's trying to finish him off, but can't do it yet. Now it's to focus on the drop-down play. Peter getting eliminated. He's been knocked out of this position here now, and he's even given a little bit of a free reload there. Switch out to the other UMP, and he takes the risk on going up the ladder. That's not going to pay off, as we saw an example of that in the second round. Daps is able to dispatch a Fallen, and that brings us back down into another even 3v3. 3v2 now, but coldzera bringing it back. Heavy cost as he's now down at 7 HP. Doesn't have a whole lot of ammo left. He's got the time to reload, but actually that goes away with Daps pushing forward. Taco now in a position to trade, and he does it, which brings us into a 1v1. But the bomb over on the outer bomb site is going to get planted for free. Now the Taco had thought it would have gone towards inner, and is also wrapping back around too to change up his position a little bit. So he's going to put that on the ground. Taco's very quickly going to find himself in a position to retake. So he creeps back up through the old bomb tunnel. Look for that battle against Fugly, but Fugly's in a much, much better position here. Taco has to check that right side. Try to wrap back around, otherwise he's just going to waste an infinite amount of time looking for him and probably never actually end up finding his opponent. He's missed the chance, though. Even in checking this tunnel, Fugly's going to be halfway around over to the other side of it. So he can hop on the bomb, try to just outwit his opponent, but in tapping it, he'll see in a second. Fugly's just going to come up from behind him. He actually hasn't spotted him yet, so still holding behind the train. But the thing is, Tacos hasn't checked his backside over in that tunnel either. So now he's jumped onto the bomb. You got to move there, Fugly. You got to go for it. And thankfully, Tacos just right out in the open, so it's an easy kill to get. And NRG do close out on that round, pushing them up to 11.
Really nicely played by Fugly. I don't know if he got a sound cue that Taco ran away, but he played that so well. Just getting back into Ivy, wrapping all the way around. And if Taco does go around like he did and try to reposition, it's going to take him so long to actually like get up near the bomb because he has to check so many angles. So that was just really, really good.
Yeah, I know he like half checked around the bomb train, but he never went fully around to look for that. So I think he did have a suspicion that he might have fallen back through Z and tried to rotate over. Really well played by Fugly. And it's given his team a somewhat secure lead now for NRG to start off this half. Winning out against that forced situation now puts SK onto a full save, essentially. Fallen having himself the scout, but that's going to be it. Besides just a few other upgraded pistols coming into the picture here now. And if you try to get aggressive, you can see the marker for Phelps right down below there. With just a measly little USP, I doubt he's actually going to attempt for the full push. At least not until we see the execute move in. Here's the shots coming out from Phelps. Phelps needs to get out of that Molotov, though. He's very low. Ends up finding sanctuary on the ladder, which is not going to be completely safe. Little man, the last second decision goes up, peeks the ladder, and there's no way Phelps is surviving in that scenario. So first kill going by the way of NRG once more. Daps having some problems with his spray on the UMP moving in, so he will be dispatched though by Taco. Fugly, and oh, Peter gets the double as Fallen and coldzera both attempt to fall back behind the spindle there. And knocking them both out just leaves Fur alive. Can't do anything with his deagle. At best, he'll be positioning himself for exits, but the round is going to go by the way of NRG as they push up to 12. With 12 rounds and 4 players staying alive too, this should be the makings of a decent economy build-up. We assume the worst of Fur and him not being able to impact with any additional kills at the end of this round. But he's going to get aggressive, pushing himself up the steps a little bit to hunt these guys down. Just checking for Whitehall's pressure right now, but to be able to get himself a really good position, sneaking around Breeze completely, knocked him out. Now he's got an AK, so there's no more reason for him to fight. Definitely wants to fall back and save that now, so he can save himself the extra 2K or so heading into the next round.
What is SK's money like?
They should have been fine now.
Yeah. So they have good money. Probably see an off on Fallen, I think they got one.
There's the double again from Peter's perspective. Catches them at a moment's notice, trying to fall back behind Spindle as they're retreating. They line him right up. Peter steals the shout. Phelps having a bit of a rough game there. 5 and 17 for him. As the team is at the very least over towards double digits. The full buy, full utility as well for SK. Now coming back into the picture here. Using a whole lot of different assault in the last forced-up round they went for. They were pretty much almost out of utility by this point in the last round, so this time it's going to be a little bit better off. But NRG still keeping themselves quiet at the beginning, splitting their players up quite evenly. Not going to be sending anyone out towards Ivy pressure, just keeping Daps out over here towards T-Con. The rest, though, are focused up with a 4-man play towards the inner box halls and are ready to push out towards B on a moment's notice if necessary. It's Fugly and Breeze. I'll start things off with a flashbang over towards upper. We'll see if they actually follow through on that one. Taco just trying to spot. Promptly tosses the Molotov over there towards the ramp. Not paying attention towards upper, though, and that could be a big issue here. Fallen trying to save it, but only able to get that one kill. Breezy not only trading back on a Fallen, but also catching Taco as well. So Breeze with the 2 very important pickups, and that's completely isolated any additional pressure from moving into the site. They are going to try to move in through this smoke, and Breeze has his back turned right now, but going to change that when Phelps tries to sneak through the smoke. coldzera trying to move back in. He succeeds in finally taking down Breeze, but not before he got 3 kills. Fur with 1 more pickup. Now coldzera's dead on the ground as the little man gets into the battle. A 2v1 for Fur to try and clutch back out, but it's playing on the far right side of the train, not the usual spot that you would expect to find it. Molly to try and push anyone that's hiding in the tanker back a little bit here, and he's ready to take these duels, but again, like I said, he's out in the open. He's not in a very advantageous position here, and as soon as some of NRG peaks, they dispatch of him. It's Fugly once again that does it, and now NRG just 3 rounds away from stealing this map.
Yeah, they are. And SK, they still have a decent amount of money if they're going to buy here. Taco definitely misplaced that, though. He was expecting upper to be just held and, I guess, on lock by Fallen and tried to reposition down to, you know, oil. Had he stayed around upper, it's a really powerful position if they actually push. Definitely would have locked it down. So a bit of a misplay by SK. They invest a little bit in this round, but they only invest enough to, you know, they're still going to be able to buy the next round. Peter already gets hit by the scout of Fallen.
This is going to guide back box halls. Got to be careful with close-up push too. Adjusts to it very nicely. That'll lead to Fur going back down, and he's a little bit hestant for good reason too. Now he's at 30 HP to go back in and go for another repeak on this to try and take down Taco. Should have stayed back. Taco finishes the job. Crosses back to safety. Fugly, I don't think he saw him yet though. Fugly going to be in the open to be able to take another hit. They're doing good damage. Just not following through too much yet. There's a good shot though from Fallen. Eliminates Breeze, puts us down into another 3v3 situation. Phelps is in a pretty poor spot, but if Fugly goes for the dive, he might be able to capitalize on it. He's going to be low though, and with that damage that was done, over on to Phelps, it will make things a little bit rough. Fugly at about an even HP though, so no one really hugely advantaged at this point. Little man try to push back in and take down Taco. Will change up this dynamic, but now you've also got another flank coming in from Phelps. Oh, whiffs on his shots though, which is going to give him away. Now he's in the open. Does some good damage to Fugly before getting knocked out by him, but still, it's just Taco alive in a 1v3 behind Bomb Train. They know exactly where he is. They should be able to take him out, but as I say that, Fugly getting eliminated, and he almost lines up that second headshot too. Peter does finish the job though, and that pushes NRG even further into the lead.
And now we're going to see SK on another fully bought round. They could even go double up if they want. But they've been playing pretty loose. I mean, going up a couple ladders and whatnot. Like, you know, in rounds that they should definitely win. So we'll see if they. I know Cold really does not like to lose. Like no matter the
circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, in rank S, like he tries really hard even, and like call strats and tries like really hard to win. So I'd be surprised if they keep playing loose. I mean, they tried the, you know, 2 rounds ago when they had that fully bought round at 12-8 when they came out upper. That was them playing serious as well, and NRG was able to win that round.
Now Fallen taking first contact by Ivy, hit by the flashbang though. So gonna miss the shot. Just holds the position, and that smoke's a little bit too deep.
On the right.
So he could stay there if he wanted to and take that battle, but decides not to and ends up wrapping back out towards the site itself. For the rest of NRG, though, they haven't even had to make a movement yet. They have used quite a bit of their utility. Starting to deploy smokes outside over onto A, though. Just a small amount. I think it was only 1 or 2 that they ended up tossing back out. But another missed op shot, even with the double op setup. Both have missed their first duels, so they know where Fur's at. Fallen's changed position, so they're not going to have an idea as to where he's positioned at just yet. But they should be able to get the message out there and play around Fur a little bit here now. And that's exactly what they've done. Man, and the others still kind of hanging back. Definitely not wanting to peek that right side where he is positioned. But with time getting low, just under 30 seconds here now for NRG. They do need to move out and actually make something happen here. But again, first contact doesn't go too well for them. Fallen hitting a first shot. Phelps with the second. Peter does trade onto Fallen, and Daps finds an entry back over here too, which is going to isolate Fur. He's kind of trapped now. Loses Phelps. Coldzera trading one out. Fur, sneaky. Thinks he can get himself on top of the train. Peter does spot him. Takes him out. Daps eliminating Coldzera up in heaven. Just on Taco now with a 1v2, and he's working his way out through a bomb train. Eliminating Peter. Daps tries to recover in time, but he's got it down so low. And he is going to be able to clutch it out. 1v2. Taco does it, and that'll keep SK in the map.
The running M4. You know what's actually really accurate is a silenced M4 when you're full running.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really accurate actually. It's in my opinion, it's probably the best. It's hard to train yourself to, like, for instance, say you're coming down lower tunnels on Dust 2, and there's a guy coming towards you. It's really bad to, like, just crouch and try to spray that person. It's way better to actually just keep running, you know, and then, like, when you run past them, you just keep running past them and aim at them like that. But the silence M4 is really good at that. Honestly, it's CSGO every time. Just, I mean, we just saw Fur jumping someone like 20 feet away.
Well, let's keep winning that one, but it's going to limit them a little bit in regards to their buy-in. As we can see, another couple downgrades. They get the utility they need, but Phelps has to go over to a UMP, and Coldzera goes down to a FAMAS with NRG still full buy. What's NRG's overall money looking like after they've won out this many rounds? It's actually not too great. They're pretty much broke after this one, actually. Everybody except for Fugly. So SK need to win out this one round, and then they do get a chance to kind of get themselves back into control and still close this out in their favor. Continue to push their record forward. It would be up to 20 wins if they're able to take control of this one. They got the free 2-0 versus Winterfox. But Daps, with the smoke covering him and Breeze are going to start to push out for inner control. Bomb is not anywhere close to this. This is just the making of the first push to see how it goes, and it does not go very well at all. Fur and Taco take them back out. Not even a whole lot of damage being traded either. Both of them take at most 8 damage. So just 3 left alive. Fallen, dispatching of Little Man. Fugly and Peter just stuck over here in the box halls. I'm not even sure how successful any attempt is going to be to take outer control now that SK have been able to push forward and hold it even more aggressively. We'll see as Peter's going to get himself a chance there against Taco. Taco just kind of giving himself up to any upper player. Not only that, but Fur gets taken care of too. They found the plant at the very least. Smart decision from Fallen to try and bait out the shot from Peter. Knows he's up there, knows he's going to be dangerous. And if he can keep this attention too, he can just let a guy roll up towards Spindles there or come up on the backside of Peter and isolate him. They know they've got him trapped now. Fallen able to take down Fugly, and then Coldzera in position on upper. Takes out Peter, and there we have another round for SK as they push up on 10.
That was like systematic perfection by SK to kill Peter. Fallen, just, he knows he's posted on him. Just makes him just stay there without being able to get a shot. Phelps gets the flank. They Molotov him, and the player's peeking at Cloud. That was sick.
And so pause is going to be called, I believe, from, I would assume from the NRG side of things. Yeah, so NRG's going to call a tactical pause here. Like I said, their money breaking them as a result of that last round, which is going to basically give SK a chance to make this a closer scoreline and realistically bring themselves back into the game where they absolutely could 16-14 this if they proceed on the proper path. But if NRG can win out at least one of these, maybe even upsetting on the eco again, can push it up to 15, at the very least have overtime guaranteed. So we will see how they are able to do that. Like I said before, definitely not going to be enough room to buy in here. Other players sitting at around 2,600 or less. As the SK starts to stack up their buys to a much more normal route here. But they're going to be a little bit low on their money too. I think overall most players end up around $1,000 or less on the SK side after they do fully invest. So they're going to end up looking not too healthy either, which opens up the question for NRG. Do we force here? Do we try to just push the envelope and send it up towards 15 and break SK after this? Or do we just play this more normally since we still have that little 4-round cushion? But at the end of the day, it does look like they take the more preservative route. Just this one save here, a couple upgraded pistols, a CZ for Fugly, and little bits of utility. At the very least, they may be able to find a plant, and they just carry that into the next round, where then they'll look to close it out. Hopefully getting a little bit of damage against SK this time too. So early on, SK, and they are going to push forward rather aggressively too. They got a player on ramp, another guy towards upper that can actually move back in once his molly fades away. Daps just solo taking control of Boxhalls though, with 3 out of 4 of the others moving over towards Ivy to push in there. And then you have the usual one player inside of T-Con. Fallen ready for this one though, doesn't miss the flick, and it's not like a bait flick either. Just one guy randomly jumping across, but not able to hit that shot. And then promptly deploys the molly to hold them back and delay things a little bit further. Not seeing them go for it just yet, but NRG still going to bite on this, just going right for the strat. Fallen doesn't even seem too scared to take these duels. The molly's got to change that opinion, of course. And now the rest of NRG do get prepared to push themselves through the smoke, challenging the players from SK. But SK wants to take the duel, and they take it with flair. Fur grabbing 2 kills and falling over to the op for the 3rd. As they move in, Coldzera on a USP will be able to dispatch of 1 more. And Fallen on the op takes out the 5th and final kill. No losses at all for SK that time, which is great for them. NRG will get themselves onto a bye, but now it's no longer just a simple 1-round break of SK. And it goes pretty much straightforward in terms of what we do expect with both of those buys coming in from either team. And so now NRG back on the full buy, have the op on Peter, and full utility as well. Their players just splitting up across the map into a usual default, taking Boxhall's control, along with holding a few on top of ladder room. T-Con and Ivy, they are trying to jump past the ramp here and see if they can bait out a shot from Coldzera or someone else that may be positioned a little bit closer up, but they don't find it. And Taka, who is also posted up very aggressively over towards the top of the ladder, same situation for him. Doesn't think it's too advantageous and ends up falling back, where he'll now hold just to the right of the bomb train. Seems that since most of NRG were able to get themselves up here with relatively no conflict, they'll feel confident in their ability to push through in the Boxhalls and end up executing out onto B more than likely. I doubt they'd go for a 4-man flush play over towards ladder room, so high likelihood that this is going to fall through and work its way onto B. And I think we can even see the Daps now pushing himself up the steps over towards the White Halls, and will then regrouped here too. Coming in a little bit later, so he can maybe cut off a flank, but in they go. Coldzera, though, great timing on the Molotov. Coldzera hits one with the op. Taco finishing off a second one as they do try to drop back in already. This is turning horribly for NRG, as they do start to try and move back in for control, but they can't even cross back out to get that bomb onto the ground. And when they do, well, Taco is going to be there to try and challenge things, but Fugly finally winning out the first duel here for NRG, taking him down, opening up the chance for these guys to get themselves a bomb down and start that timer in their advantage. 3v4 here. SK will have a flank coming in from Fur, but it's going to be some time before he can get into a position where he can really utilize it. But there we go. Coldzera and Phelps just hitting 2 more targets right up front, and it's just Daps alone now, who's already going to be challenged at upper. Can't really do much to hold. Gets the headshot. It takes him a moment. They're tapping onto the bomb now. Doesn't want to challenge it, but in comes that flank that I was discussing before, and it will close out pretty much dominantly in the favor of SK as he dispatches of Fur. There's plenty of time left for that defuse still.
Yeah, that time you saw Taco, played it right. He gets the kill when the guy comes down upper. He would have killed him if they kept pushing across as well from back of oil, or he could have just went on the cloud ramp itself and killed him. It's cool. Does get a double there. He legged the second guy through him.
Here now going to be broken and end up on a half bite. SK certainly found themselves the path back into this game here now. Cold is going to be challenging aggressively out towards Ivy immediately, but the guys on NRG might have a little bit of a surprise for him. They do try to boost up. They cancel it at the last second, though. So lets coldzera cross past the dumpster and get himself into the corner where he should be safe, and I don't even know if they're really going to check for it. Well, they'll have to do it now as he's just challenged it, and there we go. Taking out Breezy, and then the follow-through to get the one tap on a Peter and finish him off. 5v3 already.
That was just so smart. As soon as the smoke was dissipating, falling through a flash deep, and then Cold started peeking.
So, once again, same situation for NRG that we've seen in these past like 2 or 3 rounds now, where they're going to end up with very limited options. They don't really have enough utility to do it. And SK pretty much knows what's happening. So this should be a pretty quick shutdown in the favor of SK. There's some miracle kills that do work their way out. Daps trading out the 1 kill on a Taco. Taco from the grave burns out Daps. And just Little Man trying to keep himself alive inside of this smoke, but flashed as soon as he moves out, possibly by his own flashbang, it would look like. Phelps gets the last kill to push SK just 1 more round away from tying this back up. And they have a massive amount of cash sitting on themselves as well, so even if NRG do start to pick up a round here, they won't not have to downgrade themselves. They won't have to go towards UMPs or Hermosas or anything like that. They are still going to be on full M4s and everything else. Going into what could be a final round. NRG's still sending a player towards Ivy, but he's going to be very aggressively challenged. That's going to be Daps right at the start of the round that find himself in a bit of combat there. Zera boosted up on top of the server and dropped down to 75 HP, but pushes through with great timing, finds him in the open. Taco as well, right close up, finds a 3rd kill before he goes down to Little Man. That's going to be Fugly, Breeze, and Peter that he eliminates. And now, Little Man in here, but he's crunched. There's nowhere safe for him to go, and doesn't even realize that Fur is also up here to push in and finish off the job.
I don't understand why they throw that molly and ladder. It's the 2nd time I've seen them do it. What does that do? Just makes it so the person knows you can't jump down because you'll be in your own Molotov. I don't understand what it does at all.
I don't know. It's not. It's been multiple people throwing it too.
I think it might be just a waste of $400. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
And letting the ladder guy know that you're not going to come down. I do not understand it.
I mean, I guess just off of best guess there, I'd say it stops them from coming up as well.
Yeah, but you want them to come up the
Yeah,
ladder if you have 3 people there. The only thing I can think is if you throw the molly and it's deep enough to push him back so that they have to be facing team mid.
Yeah.
But obviously they're not using it to do that. So what is the point? Vendetta's going to have to answer this. The mind of NRG.
Well, into a very important round now. NRG had themselves a lead, and in a dominant fashion, it was like 14-9 or 14-8, I think, when SK did start to come back, and now it has changed up to just a straight-up tie. NRG could very well just end up losing this on regulation if they continue in their current state. But now, proper smoke symbol not being utilized. They do get themselves their bomb carrier out. Actually, no, the bomb carrier is not even out just yet. They do find the first kill. That's Daps dispatching of Taco. They do have a player behind the site, like I said, but it's not the bomb carrier yet. And Fur moving in, takes out Breeze, Peter, there for the trade. The smoke dividing upper in half, but there's 2 players right next to each other, and Phelps is moving in, trying to find one of them, but no, Little Man feels it, and he is able to take down Phelps. Fallen was able to dispatch 1 more of their own players, and coldzera still alive up here, gets himself the double. Just on Fugly now to clutch this back out. He's been the big man on the team for NRG. He'll have to do it once again and clutch this one out here, keep his team in the lead, and not let SK take the advantage here. Now, he should have been able, at least from my appearance, should have been able to see the head. He's seen it now. He's trying to move in to get to that top onto the Fallen from way back, but he can't find it. Now he's stuck in this corner. When he is pushed onto the sidewalk, Fallen's ready for it this time. Sink that final shot. And with SK getting this diffused, they finally get back their lead, 15-14, going into round number 30.
Just another like clinical type of round at the end there by SK with Fallen and Cold. Just absolutely clinical to kill Fugly. Good kills by Cold here to even put themselves in this situation. But that 2v1 versus Fugly, like, they take their time. They understand they have like 30 seconds left before the bomb explodes. They're in no rush. They wait, they spot him out. Just so nice by them. And Fallen knows that he never has to move from there. Because even if the guy's in upper, he could kill him from there. If the guy comes down lower, he can kill him from there. Cold getting aggro upper though, dies to Daps immediately.
They lose that op, but they are going to have themselves an auto sniper still sitting on Taco, so the T's can probably scavenge that and try to utilize it, but they still have to keep this alive. Fallen taking himself a bit of an aggressive peek there too, and missing the shot, so forced back. Obviously, again, as you can see, NRG still have themselves full AK, so this is not rid of one round right off the bat. NRG have to try and work together to utilize their utility properly, as that's the one big thing that they're going to be limited on. Losing out this round, but with full AKs, they can absolutely win it and take it to OT.
Yeah, this is nice by NRG, though. They kind of tricked Fallen there. Fallen thought they would do that smoke and then the molly and then walk up like they did before. That's why he pushed up to get into position. Now he's just kind of chilling there with an op, so we'll see how he manages this one.
Close up as well. He's got support from Phelps, but Phelps kind of has to worry about not just him. Oh, Fallen is going to get aggressive here. Only one player alive. The flashbang hits, but can't hit the shot. Somehow he's not dead, though, and even gets an opportunity to hit a second shot and misses it. Breeze finds the kill into Fallen, and he's almost dispatched to Phelps, too. In fact, they will take down Phelps. They burn him into the open. Taco doesn't get anything done with this auto sniper, and all of a sudden, it's just Fur left alive way back over here at CT spawn. Almost just walked into his own death there, taking a duel, already being challenged this early on. They're just going to push, pinch on this last player, take him back out with a double peek, and there you go. NRG bring it back at the very end. We go 15-15 heading into overtime. So just a little bit over-aggressive there from SK at the very end, baiting these players into the open. A little bit of trickery from NRG, and it pays off as they find one more round to tie us back up and sending it into OT, where each team now has to aim for 19 as their winning amount of rounds to be able to take this map.
We got to speed these overtimes up, though. It's got to go live, man.
Sorry.
It should not be a full new ready-up system at overtime. And I believe it's a full new ready-up system at overtime halftime, too, right?
Yeah. Players to ready up at all halftimes.
Come on, guys. We got to we got to move it.
I think the camera's falling off its axis right now. It's just a little sideways there.
Drunken observing.
Welcome to CS:GO Inception Edition. Oh.
What would be like?
Could you imagine if we spectated the whole game? Oh no, we spectated the whole game like this.
All right, what would be like the biggest like shit show, right? You have drunk observers versus drunk casters versus drunk analysts.
Wait,
like which one would be the worst? Would the observing just be terrible?
I don't know. I think drunk observers would be terrible.
Drunk observers would just be like, they would get nothing.
Because like, I feel like, depending on who it is, I feel like drunk casters or analysts could be somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, that could be.
But
no, definitely. That would probably be more fun. The viewers would probably love it. Actually.
All right, well the players have readied up, so we are going into overtime now. And
new league starting up, yeah. Drunk league.
So we are going to be looking at a double op setup for SK right at the start. Fallen and coldzera picking them up for the CT side. NRG does not decide to take that risk, but obviously Peter having himself the op tries to go for a battle right at the start, but missing it and getting hit by a big old nade to almost maximum damage. And at 53 afterwards, but still trying to fire back, and he almost hits that shot through the wall. Just a little bit too far to the left.
That's the nade you want to throw, though. When NRG nade stacked, they missed, and because they hit it off the wall, you want to get it, right in there.
And Fur hitting aggressive, lines up a perfect headshot against Fugly. Now that's the advantage they were looking for to start off on. 5v4 right at the beginning, and this isn't even counting the other 50 damage they took off of Peter, too. So it's going to send most of NRG's players back over towards Ivy now, actually, but they also have coldzera here ready to hold this one back off. Good flashbang there to send him running back over towards the tunnel. So he'll keep himself alive, but obviously won't get any opportunities to eliminate more NRG players as of yet. And for both Peter and Breeze, this will be their area of the map that they're going to try to push into. Probably going to end up looking at like a default execution towards outer at the end of the day. Obviously, you still have, I think it's Daps and Vauxhalls, but in a second, he's probably going to fall back over towards ladder. Problem for him is going to be that SK still have presence inside of ladder room, though, so he probably doesn't want to be the first guy to drop back down there. Once to get the distraction, like this kill that Breeze just got up to coldzera, and now that may send him back out. But actually, it didn't. Daps dropped down. Ferd was still positioned inside. He basically has that guaranteed kill, unless he really messes up his initial aim. Now Fallen waiting for more to come off from TCOM, but he's got to do double duty. They did eliminate the Opera back over here. A bit of a tricky position. Little Man, though, able to take down Fur. And now Fallen, hoping for the trade. Can't find it, though. About trading out guns when someone actually does cross into the open. Phelps with a good hold, though. Brings us into a 3v1. Little Man just trying to get the plant. but taken out almost immediately afterwards, and that'll be SK securing the first round in OT.
Yeah, and even though Cold dies, the way they have the outside being held, they have a guy in ladder, the guy sandwich, just have to worry about team mid, making sure he doesn't die from Ivy. And then they could send, you know, the inner player or the rotator, he can go bomb train. The bomb train guy can kill people if they come towards hell. It's a very CT-sided position if you're on bomb train watching that. He can also peek the backside every once in a while. And then when you peek the backside players, as long as you're not posted up a lot of the time, I mean, even if you're posted up, you're pretty favored. But especially if you get them while they're holding W towards the site, really easy kills.
Coldzera sticking inside of this Molly, trying to take himself the duel back over in box stalls. NRG are smart though. Good timing. They delay it. Unfortunately though, Coldzera, as soon as that Molly fades, goes right back into the battle, grabs himself a nice flick kill onto Daps, promptly falls back. Safe position. They're back on the B bomb site where he can still realize this out properly. Fallen as well, finding himself a little bit of combat on Ivy again, but not striking through as true as he would have liked. But at the same time, it doesn't matter too much since they still have this 16-5 advantage. And Fur getting hyper-aggressive, just moves in. Breeze not even looking at the right spot. So Fur's going to get him basically for free. 5v3 now. This is the same situation we ended up in a lot of regulation time with, where NRG didn't even really get to execute whatever their plan A was, and they're being forced into a very haphazardly put together plan B that probably won't end up working out too well. Little Man on his own, looking at options to get himself outside, but as soon as he swings wide enough, Fur immediately takes down Little Man, and Peter nowhere even close to a position to not just let alone push out and try to trade for his fallen teammate, but not even close to even getting out onto his site. He's still sitting on top of like a ladder room when that kill happened. So he's going to be pushed in, challenged upon by Phelps. Phelps looking the wrong way, but soon Peter goes into the box halls where Taco is waiting and will dispatch of him.
And that first round plant actually helps a lot here. They're able to get a lot more than they would have otherwise. Still pretty poor buy though, no off onto Peter, so we just got a few AKs, then a P250 and an ump. Usually we see some type of an execute here because they do have 5 smokes, so I definitely expect something, maybe bomb train smoke, something like that. But it does look like they're going to go 4 towards Ivy.
Yeah, 4 towards Ivy. Fallen actually hasn't had the best track record here with hitting these shots, and now, well, okay, that's going to change. Flash to the face, doesn't matter yet. Phelps kills the one guy trying to push over here towards Monster, and oh, that's a little bit awkward. Fugly ends up finding himself right in the face of Fallen, but Fallen looking in the complete wrong direction. Not only takes out Fallen, but he dispatches of Phelps too. Coldzera trading out for 1. Fugly trying to knock him out, but can't do it, and now he's just alone. Finds himself the 3rd kill. 2 more to go for the clutch, but being challenged further back in the Ivy tunnel. That's no longer a safe route, and just tries to hop himself into Sandwich, actually passing that, going towards Olaf now. That's really just restricted himself even more though, as he can't peek out into the open there to his left side. Towards the high flashbang. Finds no challenge on the re-peek. And with a minute left, he has plenty of time to play with this. But still, everyone on SK knows exactly where he is, or at least this general area that he should be playing from. And they both can position without making any sound at all to counter this out. That's exactly what they're going to do. Very little risk in winning out that 2v1, and they secure themselves the 3-0 in OT. Just one more round to go on their T side, and they'll have the map.
Dude, we got to see that first shot from Fallen again. I don't know how he hit that.
That was definitely an impressive shot. Just jumped in too. He was flashed for like half the jump.
I know, it looked like he was just blind and somehow just like, I don't know how he did that.
Just opened himself up well. Fugly, valiant attempt to make the comeback, just no one else really showing up to the table in that round, and it didn't allow them to win it out. So again, just waiting for the players to ready up, guys, and we'll jump into the second half. With SK having a big advantage, I'm sure NRG is going to want to take a moment to make sure they plan out their CT side pretty well here. As one mistake will sell it off for them, and they'll be losing this map, and the overall set will end up resulting in an 0-2. As if you remember back from 2 weeks ago, they did lose the first map played on Inferno.
Just seems like SK is just kind of playing with them, though. I mean, by the time SK wanted to win, it was 12-8. They did lose that gun round when they tried.
It was like 14-8.
Yeah, they lost, but they started trying at 12-8.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing the next 2 rounds. And then it was 14-8. They really started buckling down and stopped playing so loose. Just seems like SK could like almost win whenever they want, but then you can't say that because then they would have won 16-12, right?
Very true. Well, Phelps early off here tries to get himself a bit of an early challenge onto Ivy past the server, but smoked out at just the opportune moment. Still
that nade, I understand. Right?
Yeah.
Nade's good. But why the molly, NRG? Why the molly?
Not sure. Top's able to spot Phelps with the smoke, so catches a trade if they do lose Little Man just moments before. Not only this too, but they got great damage on the Fur. He's down at like 4 HP. And Taco's gonna pull himself back. Seems though as he might also be looking at options to try and drop down into the ladder room, which will almost certainly lead to his death, having Breeze positioned there. We'll see in a second. It's just a 2-2 split currently, but I think that's going to turn into a 1-1-2. Having the bomb over here towards Ivy, and even the bomb changing a position down. So very, very indecisive in terms of where exactly SK do want to take these last couple of players into the site. And Breezy basically just walks himself into the free kill there. Now for the rest of the team, though, again, like I said, very split up, very indecisive. And with Breeze still having this position downstairs, I can hear a lot of this. Peter finding the upshot instead of T-Con, takes out the bomb carrier. Taco just going to make a play, trying to drop down and find Breeze, but Breeze is like a turret in here. You cannot remove him from the inside of the ladder room, and it's left down like Cold Zera at the end of the day now. So in a 1v4, it's going to be back inside of T-Con, nowhere to run. Time's going to run out too, which is the worst part about this, is now they can just sit on the outside and try to pinch him when the time goes down to 0. Prevent him from picking anything up. But he goes into the open, and Peter takes him down with like 1 or 2 seconds on the clock. NRG go up to 16. 2 more to go. We're on double OT. Attempts to eliminate Breezy, but couldn't get it done. Kept trying to challenge him, and things did not pay off. Still have the auto sniper set up here too on NRG. So Fugly went for that big buy, but SK already having to go for a few odd purchases in the second round now. Specifically Cold Zera on the Scout, and Fallen having the up. Peter mollied out from the back position early on. I think he tossed the smoke a little bit far up, though, so that he can use it. But Fur, beautifully done, gets himself inside of Olaf, and then catches these 2 NRG players getting aggressive, trying to push inside of T-Con. Backfires tremendously against NRG's favor. Daps doesn't even know where to spray. Fur moves in, grabs himself yet another kill, and now it's down to his PTR and Fugly to try and clutch this out, but they're completely boxed out of the site. Fugly's going to get smoked away. Peter has an off. It's just 2 sniper rifles trying to clutch 1v5 now, as it is all on Fugly. He can't even get past CT, smoked out there. And if he tries to go past it, well, he is going to have players waiting for him on the other end of it. The auto sniper, we'll see how much damage he can do, more than likely. You are going to be looking at SK taking control of the situation here, and there you go. Fur wraps around the backside, finishes it off with a knife, and we end up with an SK victory, 19-16 at the end of the map.
Yeah, it just to me felt like at any time that SK really wanted to win, like I think if they would have wanted to win that game like 16-6, I really think they would have. Just from what I'm seeing, just how they're playing, you know, pretty loose at times. A lot of time like going up the ladder on CT side and whatnot. Then, you know, starting to buckle down at the end to force overtime and eventually win it.
So really full control for SK throughout most of the map. Valiant attempt from NRG, but just couldn't push it out on the end in OT. So let's send it over to our analyst to break down this first match of the night.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll take it from here. So, Vendetta, I mean, going into overtime on that, definitely not what was forecasted.
No, definitely not. But I think, you know, the reason why we end up in overtime is partly because what we're seeing from Sam, or what Sam mentioned, the fact that SK didn't necessarily play like SK for the beginning, at least of that CT half. But that's kind of what we've seen, you know, the last couple of weeks on train as well. That they're not really playing that well as a unit a lot of the times. I think as you know, we saw NRG go on that 6-1 run on their T side. It's off the back of Fur and Phelps, you know, the 2 most aggressive players on SK, dying first, you know, straight off the bat every single round. And obviously hard to, you know, set up a defense on a map like Train when 2 of your players just kind of head out and die. Yeah, almost immediately.
Exactly. Fur and Phelps having that tough first half. Not a real strong T side showing from them. But nonetheless, an 8-7 scoreline at the end of the first half for NRG. They're able to, you know, take this one into overtime a lot more than I think a lot of people expected. But with that being said, obviously, you know, it ended the way it did. I mean, it ended the way they did, and again, I think it was always SK, you know, in charge to win the game. And you could tell that, you know, SK kind of got their grip together. One was we got to 14-9. I think at one point we saw Fur playing with an AWP on CT side, which never happens. Like the guy has 7. Is it the same amount of AWP frags as he has Molotov kills?
So, you know, when he's buying it off, you know that they're not necessarily like in game mode in that sense. But after that round, you know, they just got to work, took it to overtime, won it out.
That is exactly what happened. Now, what's going to happen after that matchup is Complexity and Rush, as you can see right here behind me. But
it's going to be,
you know, it's one of those things. We'll just see how the cookie crumbles. But only going to do that right after this commercial break. We'll be right back for a little bit of Complexity and a little bit of Rush.